Welcome to JazzTime.com. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We have the lowest prices anywhere online. If you'd like to know the price, simply click the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you buy your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. Today, we will be talking about the Tudor North Flag on a steel bracelet, model number 91210N. This model has seemingly flown under many people's radars, very likely due to simply how it looks, but we'll take a closer look at it, and maybe more people can start to consider it a bit more. This is one of two variations of the North Flag, the other model being different only in that it has a black leather strap. So we'll be talking about the case, bezel, dial, crown, movement, and the bracelet, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout this video. The case on this North Flag is 40 millimeters from finger to thumb, just under 13.5 millimeters thick, and 50 millimeters lug to lug, consisting of satin brushed steel throughout, except for the bottom of the case, where it's actually a smooth polish, seemingly underlying this case and lifting it upward almost. And if you look underneath, you'll actually see the movement through a sapphire case back. And it's quite unique for a watch of this caliber, one that when this is considered, it's often compared to the likes of a Rolex Explorer. And if you know Rolex, well, you know, they keep their movements hidden away under a solid case back. All right. So the crystal, as on the back, is also on the front, made of scratch-resistant sapphire, so there's no fear of suit threads or buttons damaging it. There is actually no Cyclops lens over the date window, but you can still see it very clearly. This bezel has a matte black ceramic ring that starts from the case and has a matching stainless steel top ring face, also brushed with that satin finish, giving it quite an interesting look when you view it like face on, almost as if the bezel was actually floating above the case as a separate entity. And despite that, all of these materials and parts together give this watch a waterproofness down to 100 meters or 330 feet. Now, the dial on this model, interestingly, is made of matte black, so it's not actually reflective like you'd see in most watches, but rather it diffuses a light just a little bit more than, say, the reflective surfaces that you'd see on, say, Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Hublot, or even other Tudor models. I really think that those other brands and, you know, Tudor themselves could really learn from this and know that if they want to make a model that really pops in terms of practical use, really look no further than North Flag's exemplary dial presentation here, as you can see. Yeah, just looking really closely, there's no reflection there, so you can really see those index and the number markers very clearly. And a bit more on those actually, only the 12 and 6 are Arabic numerals, similar to those seen on, say, a Rolex Explorer in terms of its font. And while they do balance each other out, strangely enough, they get my attention much sooner than literally anything else on this dial. I could go into, you know, the psychology of the perception of numbers versus that of form of the you know, the index markers, but that would be essentially a lecture on its own. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, and before I go any further, there's actually applied luminescence on all these hour indicators as well as the hands. So let's turn out the lights and you can take a look at that yourself. All right, and see, you can see the fonts of the 12 and 6 also clearly visible. The second hand also has the very tip applied with the luminescence, so you can see it moving slowly across the dial. All right, and turning the lights back on. All right, the horizontal balance for this watch actually lies within the date window and the power reserve indicator at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions respectively. The yellow power reserve, along with the yellow second hand, yellow hash marks on the sub bezel for each hour, interspersed with the white seconds and white hands. To me, they really call forth this idea of travel, where you tend to see, you know, a black pavement, for example, with yellow painted lines and white painted lines as well. And actually, if you take a look at the hands as well, the bold hour hand actually has this shape that's different from literally all of Tudor's other models, like, say, for example, the Black Bay, you know, which has that snowflake look. It's very different. It has that bold arrow, so, you know, even more so, it has that idea of how you would see it in travel. The power gauge as well looks also kind of like a fuel tank. And so when you wind the watch, it looks like you're filling your tank with petrol, but absolutely free of charge. Feels pretty good, man. And while we're on that topic, we can actually talk about the crown functions. It has that Tudor logo, as you can see. And setting the time and date are rather simple. Works as you would expect. Simply unwind the crown so that you can then wind the watch. And if you look at the power indicator, it is slowly climbing as I'm winding the watch. All right, so there's quite a bit of satisfaction knowing that, you know, you get the immediate feedback and knowing how much power is left within your watch. Pretty nice, huh? All right, so we can pull it to the next position, and you can see that the date window, well, actually, let me move the minute hand out of the way. You can see that the date window actually advances forward with about a 90-degree turn of the crown in the counterclockwise direction. And also, if you listen very closely, it has a very satisfying little ting to it. Something that I haven't seen a lot of other people talk about. That's actually quite satisfying. Not sure if the microphone's picking that up, but if you want to, you know, experience this on your own, the buying link is in the description below at our site, jazztime.com. All right, pulling the crown out to the final position stops the seconds hand, so you can then move the minute hand freely and set the time precisely. Press it back in, wind it back against the case to ensure that superior water resistance. Nice and easy. All right. So the most important part of this timepiece from a technical standpoint would be the movement. This is reportedly Tudor's very first in-house movement, the MT5621, which is actually proudly etched into the case back. It is a self-winding mechanical movement, COSC certified with a 70-hour power reserve and beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 hertz. The balance wheel is held by 2 bridges in a silicone hairspring, so that, you know, it has that shock and electromagnetic resistance that you can expect from a brand like Tudor. It also has that bidirectional winding, so, you know, any sort of rocking motion or just the natural movements of your wrist as you wear it throughout the day will keep this watch charged and powered. And onto that, we can actually talk about the bracelet as well. It's all brushed steel on every single conceivable surface, top, bottom, sides. And if you look closely at the intermediate links in the center, they're actually beveled edges that match the sort of aesthetic that starts on the base of the case right here, and it just trails downward. So all of these beveled edges give it a very interesting texture and a very nice feel as well. Very tactile type of bracelet going on here. And all right, so they bend down rather sharply, and this tapering goes down rather smoothly as a contrast, and it has that almost ladder-like presentation if you look at it, those H-shaped links with the intermediate rectangular links with the beveled edges. This clasp is a folding clasp with a safety catch. So with the Tudor wordmark logo, and while the clasp itself seems to poke out under the safety catch, it may seem deceptively like a point at which you lift it, but the safety catch is quite necessary for this. But why even have it in the first place? Interesting design decision here, but if you lift the safety, it is now extremely easy to open. So there's your design decision. If you note the inside of the clasp, there are large spaces inside of these, and assuming you wear your watch with the clasp on the inside of your wrist, like so, you'll be just fine, you know? But if you wear your watch on the reverse way, well, first, why? Second, don't do that. And third, you'll have your arm hairs actually quite likely epilated without having to pay for any sort of machine or service. I guess it comes standard with this bracelet. So what are my thoughts on this as I see it on my wrist? Well, it is 40 millimeters in diameter, 50 millimeters if you count the lug-to-lug distance. So it is actually rather large on me for a wrist of 7.25, 7.5 inches in circumference. But the way the bracelet works from the lugs is that it really allows for that, a much smaller form factor that basically only, if you need to, only goes up to the lugs. So, it's not too bad. And with the thickness of this watch, it actually fits under my sleeve quite nicely. Under a dress jacket, well, you could probably make an argument because that beveled edge just doesn't really reach up here, so you might have some issues with suit cuffs, but this doesn't really seem that much like a dress type of watch. It's more sporty. It's more for that travel type of aesthetic, really. So on that topic, who is this for? It's probably for anybody who actually already has a watch. When you're considering the function of this watch and why there's such a large power reserve meter, and the fact that it's so pronounced in yellow and so large, and the fact that this does have a 70-hour power reserve, you can wear this watch twice a week without having to really wind it at all after that. And with a power meter like that, it's hard to ignore how satisfying it feels to fill it up, without spending any extra money. So enough about my thoughts. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like as it really helps our channel out. Be sure to share this video with anybody looking for their next watch. And don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell notification so you can be notified when we go live with another video. And don't forget, if you want this or any other watch, be sure to put in your order at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.